Most of the area's top high school basketball players have already signed with their future colleges, except for the area's top scorer. Start High School's Anthony Henderson averaged over 28 points a game, and his college coaches were checking him out this afternoon, so were we. Toledo coaches came yesterday, then today's open gym at Start High School included coaches from Bowling Green and James Madison.
They're here most of the time, but it's pretty neat, but then again, I know I got to play hard every single time because there's somebody's watching me all the time.
Watching to see how this top scorer can become a top distributor at the next level. Anthony's being recruited as a point guard, and he tells us he's working especially hard on his ball handling. At least 5 MAC schools have offered him a basketball scholarship, but right now he does have his favorites.
Anthony Henderson. I'm from Toledo, Ohio. Yeah, so I grew up a 2-parent household. You know, I'm blessed for that every day. Grew up with my mom and my dad and my brother. I have a sister as well, but I don't want to say typical because looking back on it, it wasn't as typical as you thought. But growing up, you know, that's kind of what I thought was the norm, and growing up, it really wasn't. So I'm blessed for that for sure. The environment, it was. Like I went to a bunch of different areas of Toledo, so it kind of changed on the area you was in, but it was more or less just like you just gonna work as hard as you can just to, you know, just to get by. It wasn't a sense of let's work hard to become rich, let's work hard to become, you know, as best as we can be. It was more or less let's just try to just do as much as we can to just get by.
I'm Debo Henderson. I seen Toledo as a place that, you know, you wanted to get out of. You know, you wanted to make it out of Toledo. You know, our nickname is the Mud. And I always look at that as like, you know, you can get stuck there, but you want to get out. And the goal is to make it out.
300 days out the year, I'm in Toledo. I'm in the mud, you know, where we kind of just, everybody's the same. Everybody's not really looking bigger than Toledo, looking bigger than the mud. So basketball always, I feel like, helped me just kind of expand my brain. But growing up as a kid, it was pretty much like Toledo is it. Like that's pretty much all you knew. Very, very sports related. Kind of grow up figuring out which sports you want to play. I feel like if you don't play sports, it's like, what are you doing? It's nothing else to do, you know, so. They influenced me a lot, and they worked their butts off.
One thing that my parents, they did for us was they never showed, like, let us see them sweat. Like, we never seen them actually going through nothing. We never seen them struggling. And it didn't really dawn on me till I got older. Like, they had to put in a lot of work for us, but they never showed it. Like, they never, like, showed the struggles they went through and the things they had to do. And they just made it so clean cut for us and just provided for us and put us in a good situation.
Always say this, like, I felt like my dad was Superman. Like, he pretty much did everything right in my eyes. And the older we get, the more I realize that he wasn't perfect, but it kind of made me appreciate him more. Cause like, you know, he made mistakes, you know, he wasn't as perfect as I thought he was, but I mean, hey, he set the example that he was supposed to. And as far as my mom, like, she worked harder than anybody I know. So my mom was she's a lieutenant at well, not even a lieutenant, she's actually the warden at a prison now. And that's something that if she wouldn't have went out and worked her butt off to become, she wouldn't have got it. So I think just seeing her just, you know, not take no for an answer and be that stern person that she was, it taught me lessons on, that's how I wanted to be, so. I would say, because it's funny that you asked that, because growing up, I mean, I thought I loved it. I thought I loved basketball. I thought I loved football. But I had a coach, shout out to Coach Rob Martin. He was pretty much like a uncle to me. And that was something he asked me. I want to say I was maybe a freshman, sophomore in high school, where, you know, I started kind of seeing my talent, seeing how good I can really be in basketball and football. But he asked me that question. He's like, do you love basketball? Do you love it? And that was something I had to really deep down and like kind of wonder, like, do I love this? Like, is this something that I can see myself, you know, making money off of doing something for the rest of my life? So I would say around that age, 14, 15 was when it was like, all right, like, are you doing this just because you want to, just because your friends is doing it? Or do you really love it? and I told myself I loved it, and that's when I started working harder, I feel like, than anybody else. Yeah, because he was like the first guy that kind of came in my life where he had credentials as far as a coach, as far as official coach. I think he was coaching college basketball at the time. So he was somebody that I was just like, wait, like, he's serious about basketball. And that was something he always, instilled in me, like, do you love basketball? And it sounds kind of cliche at first. You just like, of course I love it, like, of course. But you don't really know what really entails with that. It's like, if you love it, then that means you're gonna do anything you can to get to that next level. You're gonna work your butt off. You're gonna get up at 6 a.m. every morning. You're gonna do these things that people that just like basketball or people that just do it as a hobby, they're not doing that. So him putting that in my head, I think really changed my life for real. Start High School is where I went for high school. Not necessarily known as a basketball school, but I feel like my 4 years there, we did as much as we can. We pretty much, did as best as we can. We put them on the map as much as we could, so.
It would be dope seeing how other people talked about it. Like, I would be in the crowd just watching the game. What would kind of be normal to me, because it's my brother, but I would hear people behind me just like, man, he a dog, like, he a killer, damn, he got 40 tonight. But it almost kind of be normal to me. Like just watching it, this is just another day. But how the other people would talk about him is what really, made it impactful. It's like, damn, like, he really is doing something crazy. Like, he is dropping 30 on the best teams in the city and going to other cities, killing them. And
a lot went into that. I would say it being 40 minutes from home, that had a lot to do with it. Where I could have went to the University of Toledo, but I just kind of felt that was too close. So I wanted to get away, but also at the same time, I didn't want to leave to where my family couldn't come watch me play. So I wanted to make sure they was there, but also not, pulling up on me every 5 seconds too. So that had a lot to do with it. We had a really good coaching staff, especially they were all like mostly African Americans with Coach Orr, Coach Hobson, and Coach Stone. That had a lot to do with it. And just feeling like that was they also had won the MAC championship too the year before that too. So they were also a really good team. So I felt like I was gonna be able to just fit in perfectly with them. It started off rocky. It started off a little slow. Like I said, I graduated at 17. So when I went there that first summer, freshman year, I was still 17. And it was crazy because coming from high school, I was the all-time leading scorer at my high school. Like, I pretty much was the scorer that did everything. They had the 1,000-point posters everywhere. I had the posters all in the gym. So you kind of walk into college like, all right, let's see if we can translate this. When you get to college, like, nobody care. Nobody care what I did in high school. I'm the young guy on campus. I'm practicing against juniors, seniors, and they probably did the same thing at their high school. So it was a big culture shift in the sense of, like, I kind of got to restart myself. I got to, redo everything I did and show them that I can do it there. So on court, it was tough, and off the court, it was tough too. Going into college, it's just a lot different. They're not really on you as much. It's about, exactly what your homework need to be done. If you don't do it, you just gonna get an F, and that's just kind of how it was. So it was a tough adjustment. Yeah, it was more or less. When you get on the basketball court and you do a nice move and nobody really gets too excited for it. The coaches is not like, that was a nice move, that was good, that was that. But then when you get a stop or you take a charge or you get a block, then they hype. So it's like, all right, I see what I need to be doing to get on this court. I need to be playing defense. I need to be playing my butt off. I need to be being the first in the suicide lines. Just different stuff like that kind of like changed my mentality where it's like, we all can score. We all can put the ball in the rim. But what can kind of separate you from the rest of everybody? So my guy, Jordan Crawford, to this day, he's probably one of the best guards I ever played with. He was like a 5'6" guard. He was the starter on the team before I got there. And he scored on anybody. And I think kind of locking him up in practice a couple times kind of opened my mind up to where if I could stop him, I could stop anybody. So it was on the court. It wasn't in the games, but it was in practice where it kind of gave me that switch where it was like, all right, like, I'm about to really settle down and just, start locking people up or attempting to lock people up. And doing that to him, I think it really helped me out. Once I decided that it was like, I'm gonna be the best perimeter defender on my team, I started for the next 3 years. I didn't play much. I got redshirted my freshman year, and then my redshirt freshman year, I played spotty minutes, played a little bit. But then that following year, so my redshirt sophomore year, was when I really started playing. I think I ended up starting the last 12 to 13 games of the season. And I started every game my junior year and every game my senior year. So that's probably when that click happened, was when I decided to play defense. And I can always score. Like I said, I was the all-time leading scorer in high school. Like, scoring is not hard for me. But getting that switch where it was like, all right, I'm gonna go guard the best player on the other team. And once I decided to do that, I feel like the sky was the limit for me. That probably happened in college. In college, that maybe that senior year, I had a great senior year, like as far as record-wise, but not as far as points-wise. I think I averaged maybe 10, 12 points. So in my head, I've seen, Ja Morant and these different players that come from mid-majors where you got to average 30. You got to average 25, 30 at a mid-major to get to the league. So I kind of figured it out in college. So it was more or less like, let's get overseas first. Let's try to continue to play basketball as long as we can, and eventually, we'll try to get to the league. But as far as like confidence, or as far as just like my abilities, that never left me. Like, I always felt, even though I'm not going to the league right now, I can still play with anybody. That was always my mentality. So that's just kind of how it played out. Yeah, I would be lying if I said it wasn't, because you just always like, I want to get to the NBA, I want to get to the league. But you got to be real with yourself. I think that's best, is being real, and also realizing like did I put the work in college to prepare myself to go to the NBA?
So one specific scenario I remember is we were working out one time. It was like my first time ever working out with him, and I couldn't get through the workout. And he told me, like, you don't know how to work hard. And that kind of like, I'll never forget that. He was like, you don't even know how to work hard. And when he said that to me, I'm like, what does that even mean? But it never left me, because it showed me like, when you going through a workout, you actually got to push yourself. It's like I would get through the workout and I'll be tired and I kind of give up on myself and I'm like, I can't do this. And he's like, you don't know how to work hard. So he showed me how to work hard and how to push through and how to, be the best I can be, and how to get through something, get through a challenge and fight through adversity. And he taught me confidence.
And I would say that I didn't. I'm not gonna sit here and be like, I did everything I needed to do in college and it just still didn't work out for me. So having that mindset is like, okay, I don't think I worked as hard as I needed to in college, but I'm gonna work my butt off to get to where the next step I gotta be. And that's like a life learned lesson that I taught myself, is if you don't work, you're not gonna get what you want. You can say you want this, you can say you want that, but if you're not putting the work in, that's just a dream at the end of the day. Like, you're not gonna achieve it if you're not putting the work in. So I learned my lesson the hard way. When I left college, I moved to Memphis. I got my whole mom's side of the family lives in Memphis, Tennessee, and it's a really big basketball community down there. Once again, like, I didn't want to go back to Toledo. I didn't want to go back to Ohio. I love it there, but it's just not enough motivation for me to feel like I want to thrive to where I wanted to thrive. So I have a cousin that played at Georgia Tech. He's very, Mo Miller, he's very, involved with the basketball world. He lives in Memphis, so I went down there. I moved down there. I was gonna train with him for a couple months, and he got me onto a pro-am team, or not a pro-am team, but a semi-pro team. So I played with them for 4 or 5 months, did really well, played really good, probably averaged 20, 30 points there, and then that's when the Canada League took off after that. So we were called Durham United. It was a team that was like 30 minutes east of Toronto. So I was over on the east side of Toronto, played there for like 4 or 5 months. I was in Oshawa, Canada. Really good league. Our head coach was Milt Palacio. He played in the NBA, learned a lot from him. And it definitely could have, translated to another Canada league or to another bigger league, but everything happened for a reason. still basketball, really. I came out here, my girlfriend had just moved out here, she went to school out here, so it was just like, all right, I'm gonna move to LA, we're gonna train, we're gonna get into the Drew League, and then we're gonna go back to Canada. That was always my mindset. Like that was kind of how it was. Again, didn't want to go back to Ohio, didn't really want to go to Memphis again, so I was like, all right, we're gonna do the LA thing, and we're gonna work out there, and then we're gonna, worst come to worst, we go back to Canada. But yeah, you know, like I said, everything always happens for a reason. Kind of like that click once you got out here and different opportunities go within basketball still. You know, I've had the opportunity to be in different commercials and shows, movies and everything. So it's still that basketball base, but yeah, it's just a whole different route than I ever expected. No regrets. I feel like I'm in a better position now if I would have kept trying to play in Canada. So, you know, I'm glad that I made the decisions I made.
Henderson has made it official. The start guard will play college hoops next year for Bowling Green State University. Henderson signed his letter of intent this afternoon over at Start High School. This is a great pickup for the Falcons. Henderson set the Spartan record, scored more than 1,300 points in his career, earning All-City, All-District, and All-State honors.